Expressions of a quantity. An expression of a quantity may precede a noun. Singular count noun, we use one, each, every. For example, one apple, each apple, every apple. Apple is a singular count noun. Plural count noun, two, three, four, five, etc. Both, a couple of, a few, several, many, a number of. For example, two apples, both apples, a couple of apples, a few apples, several apples, many apples, a number of apples. Apples is a plural count noun. Some are used only with non-count noun. We use a little, much, a great deal of. For example, a little rice, much rice, a great deal of rice. Rice, an uncountable noun. Some are used with both plural count noun and non-count nouns. For example, we use no, some, any, a lot of, lots of, plenty of, most, all. For example, no apples. Apples is a count noun. It's a plural. No rice. We can speak no rice. Rice is an uncountable noun. Now I will explain use a few and few, a little and little. A few and a little give a positive idea. They indicate that something exists, present as in A and B. In A, I use a few. She has been here only 2 weeks, but she has already made a few friends. It's a positive idea. She has made some friends because I use A before a few. Little, I use little, a little in example B. I am very pleased I have been able to save a little money this month. It's a positive idea. I have saved some money instead of spending all of it because I use A before a little. But few and little without A give a negative idea. They indicate that something is largely absent. In example C, I use few. I feel sorry for her. She has very few friends. It's a negative idea. She doesn't have many friends. She has almost no friends. In example D, I use little. I have very little memory. I don't have enough memory to buy food for dinner. It's a negative idea. I don't have much money. I have almost no money. I explain use of and expressions of a quantity. Group 1, expression of a quantity that always contain of, a lot of, lots of, a number of, a great deal of, a majority of, plenty of. Some expressions of a quantity such as a lot of always contain of, as in A and B. In A, sentence is correct because I use a lot and of together. A lot of books are paperbacks. In B, also the sentence is correct. A lot of my books are paperbacks. Also, I use a lot of and I use a lot and of together, but I adding my. But incorrect, and the sentence C incorrect because I don't. I don't use a lot of. I use a lot. A lot books are paperbacks. Group 2, expressions of a quantity that sometimes contain of and sometimes not. We can talk all or all of, must or must of, almost all of or almost, many or many of, much or much of, a few or a few of, a little or a little of, one or one of, two or two of, three or three of, both or both of, similar or similar of, some or some of, any or any of. Of is used with the expression of a quantity in group 2 when the noun is specific. A noun is specific when it is preceded by my Jones or any appositive as in H. Many of my books are in English. To this, that, these, or those, as in I. Many of those books are in English. 3. The, as in G. Many of the books on that shelf are in English. But of is not used with the expression of a quantity in group 2 if it noun it modifier is non-specific. K. Many books are in English. In K, the noun box is inspecific. The speaker is not referring to your box or these books or the books on that desk, or the speaker is not referring to a specific book but is books in general. Talk a books in general. I will explain all of and both of. When a noun is specific, for example, the students using of after all is optional, as in A and B. In sentence A, all of the students in my class are here. It's a correct sentence because I use all and of together because it's a specific noun specific. In example 2 or P, it's a correct, also correct, because I use all without of, but it's a specific. All the students in my class are here. Simply using of after both is optional when the noun is specific, as in E. I knew both of those men. It's correct. I use both and of and it's specific. I know both those men. It's correct because I use both and it's specific. But when a noun is non-specific, of doesn't follow all, as in C. All students must have an ID card. It's a correct. And I don't use of because it's unspecific. Incorrect use of all of students must have an ID card. Also in both. When a noun is unspecific of doesn't follow both, as in F. I know both men, correct. I don't use of and both together because it's non-specific. And G incorrect because I know both of men, both and of together, and it's not specific. It is not correct. I continue. Singular expressions of quantity, one each every. One each every are followed immediately by singular count noun. Never plural nouns, never non-count noun. For example, one student was late to class. Each student has a schedule. Every student has a schedule. Student is a singular count noun, and I use one every each. But one of, each of, and every one of are followed by specific plural noun, count noun, never singular nouns, never non count nouns. For example, one of the students was late the class. Each one of the students has a schedule. Every one of the students has schedule. The end. Thank you for listening.